Alright, what's up, y'all? Y'all can't see. I did try to put the camera on a little bit, but for whatever reason, it ain't cameraing. But dream vlog. So it's about 7:13 a.m. on Thursday, I think April 18th, 2024, but it's definitely Thursday. And I woke up from this terrifying dream. In the dream, it was like a city environment. There was a whole lot of, and I hate the word homeless, so I'm using, there were a whole lot of homeless people, like, in this area. Like maybe there was a rundown house or it was something, but it was a bunch of homeless people, black, right? And I was hanging out there, and man, this dream was terrible, but I was hanging out there and I had my phone, and every time I do this dream thing, I get thirsty. Hold on. All right. So in this dream, um, like I said, a bunch of homeless people. It was nighttime. Everybody was black. Most of the people skinny and greasy. There was a house. I don't know if it was like a house where that they just took over, but some of the people were homeless, like, and again, forgive the terminology, but like they look like crackhead homeless, like real skinny, real dark, and just hanging in the streets. Then there were people that were, they were they looked like me, like they looked like me, but they were, but that type, right? So in the house, there were people that was cooking and stuff like that. Then a huge school bus pulled up, and I guess the person that was in the bus was living in the bus, and they had like a sheet draped over the outside of it to cover the windows. The girl that was inside was just like, why would you pull up here just to, sleep, whatever. And it was like right in front of the house. She didn't say nothing to them, but that's what she was saying. Like, why would you just come here to hang out? You could go somewhere else and do that. But then, so I went outside, and there were like big mattresses and stuff on the ground, and people were just hanging out. And I don't know. Oh man, deja vu. Somebody said something about sleeping on a dirty mattress. I was like, I don't know that. But anyhow, so in the dream, I was on this mattress and I was sleeping. And I think I didn't live there, but I was there hanging out and I got comfortable there. Like, kind of where the situation is where wherever I go, I kind of hang out. And that's what it was. And I was laying there, and, you know, nobody normally bothered me. Some guy came and whispered in my ear something about, something, hold your ear, I didn't think nothing of it, I thought it was somebody at some I knew, so, whatever, I held my ear. And when I held my ear, some other guy came, and I think maybe he had a thing for somebody that holds their ears or something weird like that. So this other guy came, and, he was trying to push up on me, and I was just like, no, leave me alone, whatever. And then finally, he was getting so aggressive that I got up and I looked at him. It was this old, and I was like, you old, you ugly, and you such and such, leave me alone. So he walked up on me, and in the dream, I heard like this noise, and I couldn't make out what it was. Like, and when I woke up, I realized he was trying to set me on fire. Now, let me tell you a little bit ahead of the story. I missed sharing this part. I was sitting, like, there was a broken down porch or something. I was sitting, like, maybe on the stoop or something, looking at it, and there was black girls that were coming out, and, you could see, like, around their waist where they had a belt on, but it was burnt. Like, the belt wasn't on, but their skin was burnt to where you could see the belt marks, like fashion belts, big diamond shapes. And I was like, I remember before the end of that dream that I just told you, I was like, how, I was like, you never know what these women go through, you know. And my heart is beating fast and I'm losing my breath even thinking about it. And I was like, how did that happen? Like, were they in the sun too long or what happened? And then the end of the dream kind of told me probably what happened. And what's scary to me, over the past few days, parallels to real life, in real life, things happen to me like every time I ask how does something happen, God will show me. Like, he'd be like, oh, you want to know how? This is how. In the dream, I asked that question. And in the end, that was the end of the dream. Parallels in real life. Over the past few days, a lot of situations with men folk. There's this one guy that always be hanging out. He looks like a regular clean cut guy. Now, y'all. So, for those of you that don't know, I haven't told the story, but I'm going to tell it now. First, I'll tell this dream and I'll go backwards into it. So, this guy's name is like Izzy. And when I think about it, remember Smurfs when we were little, they were saying Smurfs were demonic. I was like, how? And the guy's name was Azrael or something like that. And that was like, that's the name of whatever, right? And the guy, and I used to talk about church all the time. And the guy was just like, oh, he doesn't believe in God, whatever. I was like, okay, do you, whatever. And I kept seeing him pop up, and sometimes he would look whatever, and sometimes he wouldn't. He said he had a job. And then it's like I would find instances, it's something spiritual happening in my life, and it's a little weird. I would find instances where he would just happen to pop up where I am. Just like yesterday, I was leaving, going to the gym, leaving from picking up some things that I came back from church. And he popped up out of nowhere and was just like, hey, I was like, who's that? And he was like, I just said his name, him. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he said he was going to a Japanese place to get something to eat. I said, oh, okay. And at first I asked where his bags were, but he said he had started a job or whatever, so he probably got a room somewhere or something. I was like, okay, young guy, right? And so then, like over the past few days, it happened once a long time ago. There was like some Mexican guy. And I was talking about, again, I'm always talking about God being a Christian. And he was like, by the way, my name is Christian, It was so weird. And normally I don't have nobody bother me like that. But then recently, like I said, night before last, it was 3 guys on bicycles in a row. Last night, it was another few guys. Like, and where I am, I'm kind of off to myself, but it was scary. The first night, this guy walked past just as I was coming to an intersection. Heavy cologne, big book bag. And I was thinking about how I was supposed to be serving. I didn't have my things to serve, but I was scared it was late and I kept going. And I was kind of watching until he go. And before that, I had another guy that was like one off like that. But, I'm not tripping. And then after I left him, there was like 3 guys on a bicycle. They were separate. But it's like 3 in the morning. Where are y'all coming from? 4 in the morning. Actually, where are y'all coming from? There's usually nobody there. These are black people. Now, before that, it was white people, but it was like joggers. And like I said, I normally don't encounter anybody at all. But it's some weird stuff. It's too much to even talk about. But a lot of weird things been happening. And then there's this lady at this church. And she was like really trying to, be close. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, when I followed in suit, it was just like, I don't know if somebody put something in her ear or something, but she completely changed for no reason. I went to church tonight, it was the same thing. She was stomping in there, face balled up. I was like, what in the world? Well, last night. And then last night, like I said, the night before last, when I walked past, there was a guy, and it scared me because the way he rode on his bicycle, I didn't even know he was on a bicycle. It looked inhuman, like this thing was coming to me so fast, but it ended up he was on an old raggedy bike. And then when he took off and left, it was the same thing. It was like the bike wasn't even riding. It was like it was floating off. It was like crazy. Now, speaking on this, I'm getting chills talking about it. Somebody talked about, I remember when I was watching YouTube a long time ago, about how they met Christopher Walken, and they thought that he was, the guy that was in prophecy, that he was something negative, otherworldly, I'm not going to say. And it was like he walked off and it was like he floated. He didn't even walk. That's how this bicycle guy was. Last night, the same thing happened. It was another bicycle guy, but it was a different guy, different build, different complexion. And he was, he was coming real fast like that again. And then he was like, hey, such and such and such. And this time it was like almost midnight. And, I was like, you're fine. And he was like, oh, you're fine too. I said, okay, thank you, And he was still speeding off. And he was just like, then he stopped. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. And he was like, you okay? And he was like, I don't care about all that. You okay? I didn't say anything. And I was like, I'm fine. I just need you to get where you're going, And a few weeks ago, there was a church I used to go to. When I came back from classes, I'm no longer deal with that group. The church is fine, but with the other group. But it's so much stuff that's happening. It's just so weird, and it's so fast. Like, back to back with different people. It's not the same people, It's so weird. And it's weird. I don't know what's going on, but anyhow, that was my dream. The rest of it I have to sort out in real life. Anyways, peace out. Bye.